So today I'm going to go over 3 different kinds of slip that I use in my studio. You may have something else, so keep that in mind, but you just have to get to know your slip and your mold. These are going to be general guidelines that will help you out a lot. I do not cover porcelain in this video. That is a whole separate video all by itself. I'm going to cover stoneware, which can also be called mid-fire or high fire. I'm going to cover earthenware, which is also called low fire. And I'm also going to cover terracotta, which generally is a low fire, but you can get recipes that go all the way up to 5. We're going to talk about it in a low fire sense in this video. The stoneware slip that I use, I get it from Trinity Ceramic Supply in Dallas, Texas. Now, if you're in driving distance 3 to 5 hours away from there, I would seriously consider going to Lowe's and stocking up on about 10 5-gallon buckets and just making a trip out of it. It's going to be worth it for you. They sell it by the gallon. You do get a price break once you reach a certain thing. I'm going to leave their link in the description for this video so you can check out their website. You can look at everything and see if it's for you. But this is what I use. The low fire slip I use right now is from Armadillo Clay. They stopped making it. As soon as they said that they were going to stop making it, I bought a pallet. I'm just now kind of getting to the end of the pallet. There was a lot on there. But I have been working on formulating 2 different recipes, one with talc and one without talc. Those videos are going to be available this summer on this channel, so follow if you haven't already followed, if you're interested in making your own slip. And the terracotta slip that we'll be talking about today, I actually make in-house. You can find the recipe and the video in the community tab. I'm also going to leave a link to the video in the description, and at the end of this video, in the little box, you can click that too. It'll take you to it. Now let's talk about stoneware first. This particular stoneware is like every other stoneware I've ever used. It is completely unforgiving. So regardless where you get it or how you make it, it's kind of all going to act the same way. Stoneware slip is very brittle. I did a little experiment. I put the stoneware slip, the earthenware that I use, low fire slip, and the terracotta, and I put it on a drying bat, and I left it for 25 minutes. Now, it soaks up, the drying bat works just like a mold. It's made out of potter's plaster, and it soaks up the water. And as you can see, the stoneware really takes an extra long time to absorb. It's what I call a wet slip, just like I call the terracotta a pretty wet slip too. Once it comes out and everything has time to kind of dry up a little bit, I would say right before leather hard, because you don't really want it leather hard. You can see how brittle it is. The terracotta, you can bend it in half, you can move it around, you can really manipulate it in the same way with the low fire. You can really manipulate it and move it around. That's what makes it fun to do our little Frankenstein molds with, because you can really change the shape with it when it's in this stage. Stoneware, not so much. As you can see, it just snaps as soon as you try to bend it, and this is still pretty wet. There's still wet spots in it. So once it gets to where you can pull it out of the mold, it's very unforgiving, and it's really hard to do some of the things that we're going to do with. For this particular slip, I leave it in the molds for about 2 hours before I even attempt to demold it. And that's in the summertime when it's warm, when the molds are warm and everything's warm. Now in the wintertime, like we're doing right now, I have to leave it in 4 to 5 hours, and then I still have to use a fan sometimes. And once you open the mold, you want it to be firm but not dry. Not leather hard, that's too late. Not for stoneware, you can't do anything with it after that except maybe clean it if you're very gentle. So you want to walk that fine line between too wet to work with and too dry to work with. I know that sounds bad, but it's the truth. And stoneware slip is very hard to clean because it's so brittle. You can't just scrape the seams off and glide over it like you can the other slips. You have to slice the seams off. So you have to turn your tool to the side, and a new tool is best because it's going to be sharp, and you literally have to slice the seams off. If you try to sit it on there and drag it, it's going to crumble and you're going to get divots and holes. Very undesirable outcome. Next, we're going to talk about the earthenware slip, which is my absolute favorite. It's also called low fire slip. This is by far the easiest slip to work with that I have ever found. It's very forgiving. It's perfect for putting different molds and different pieces on, which technically is called wedding molds. It's called marrying molds, or affectionately Frankensteining molds. It's also easy to use in winter or summer. When I pour the molds in the summertime, I can demold just in an hour or 2, or even though it's so warm outside, I mean, I can still leave it overnight. So what I prefer to do is when I do a full pouring, which is between 40 and 60 molds, I pour everything, drain it, and then I leave it sit sometimes just outside on the drain tables until the next morning. That's how unforgiving it is. If I tried to do that with my high fire slip or my terracotta slip, I'd come back and it would be cracked inside. It would be unusable. So this right here is perfect for what I do because I do, you know, the marrying of molds. Cleaning is easy too. You take your tool and you can just scratch right on the outside of it, just barely, and you can actually just do it with your finger if you wanted to, or a damp sponge when it's wet. It's extremely easy to clean fresh out of the mold. Now, if you're in a hurry and you've got a lot to do and you don't get your complete cleaning done, you can also clean these just like you do the other ones. Outside, you can use like the green or the brown kitchen scratch pad, or you can scrape it, but wear your mask. Now on the low fire, I can put that directly into the drying cabinet sometimes, but I don't. I always let all of my slips rest 24 hours on the cottle boards on the wall, or I have an old baker's rack that I use that I can wheel around in here. And the very next day, then it goes in the drying cabinet. And I'm going to leave a link to my DIY drying cabinet that I made. I'll put it in the description, and at the end of this video, it'll be one of the little boxes that you can click. Finally, we're going to look at the terracotta slip that I use. So once you pour this, you dump it, you let it rest, you open it. The first thing you're going to notice is it's wet. It's what I would call a wet slip. These are my terms. I don't know if anybody else uses these terms. But when I take the terracotta out, the recipe that I will share with y'all, it's going to be at the end of this video too. When I take it out and try to clean it, it's going to kind of lose its form. It's just not firm enough. And if I leave it in there too long, then I'm going to get cracks. So when I use the terracotta, when it's firm enough, I take the piece out, I set it on the cottle board for a couple hours, and then I come back to it. So even terracotta, when it's leather hard, it's really good to clean it because it doesn't crumble. So I can take it and rake it, and you know, it's still damp, so you're not getting all, you know, all of the little particles in the air. Still wear your mask. But it's easy to clean like that. And so terracotta is best sitting on the wear board for at least 48 hours before I put it in the drying cabinet. I guess get less cracking. I hope this answers some of your questions about the slips and what to do once you pull it out of the mold. It's very quick. It's very easy. If you're going to add appendages, you're going to slip and score and add any pieces to it. That's the stage that you do it before it gets leather hard. Remember that. Here's the video on how to make the terracotta slip that we make in this studio, and here's the video on how to make the DIY drying cabinet. And if you have anything else to say or anything to add to this, go ahead and leave it in the comments so everybody can see it, and I'll see you next time.